homage to a classic, and this right here has Halloween 2 written all over it, and I absolutely adore that. Rennie and Courtney, I'll start with you on this particular clip. First, can you tease why it was important to you to have one of the first big set pieces of this movie be set in a hospital? Is there anything about how that setting raised the stakes for the rest of the movie that you thought was necessary?
Well, I think hospitals are scary to begin with. My dad was a doctor and I spent a little time in hospitals when I was little, and I'm still traumatized by it. So I always like to put hospitals in my movies, and in this one, of course, it was a natural one because Maya has just survived this attack, and then it's kind of a natural way to make her very vulnerable in this environment that is supposed to be safe and soothing. And that environment naturally offers a kind of a scary environment. And then doing this first set piece as a oneer and following her through these corridors and building the suspense and so on was something we really wanted to explore. And it was a fun shot to do. We rehearsed it quite a bit to get all the camera movement and everything right, so we could tell the story in the best possible way. But then when the actors nailed it and the camera operator nailed it, it was incredibly satisfying.
Courtney, anything you want to add on that?
I love a oneer in any movie, in a horror movie. And, in the hospital, I mean, first of all, story-wise, Maya was stabbed at the end of movie 2. So she's actually got a fairly not movie 1, she's got an actual, fresh stab wound from there, which she survived and, has had surgery on. So she's in a hospital. So that was sort of the impetus in the first place. And then we sort of got inspired about what we could do in that hospital. What you just saw is sort of like just the very beginning of it. Let's put it that way to you. And they're not all oneers. That was the oneer, and that was like what that was. As Rennie said, nobody likes a hospital, and it's really creepy and it's really scary. And but that's why she's there. And really, we love the hospital sequence in the film. It really, I don't know, I love the analogy to Halloween 2 vibes. That's really cool.
Were you two super aware of the Halloween 2 connection? And if so, what is the key to paying homage to a classic, but ensuring that your version has a stranger's feel to it?
I have to confess that, of course, I saw Halloween 2, but when we were making this movie, I didn't remember that it had this whole big hospital thing in it. I swear to God, I'm sure it was somewhere in the back of my mind. But I wasn't intentionally, not that I wouldn't love to pay homage to Halloween 2. And I'll take credit right now. Yes, that's what we were thinking. The whole thing was planned as an homage to Halloween 2. So if you like that one, you're going to love this one. Yeah, it was just, we felt it was a fantastic environment to explore. And like it was just said, this is just the tip of the iceberg in the movie, and there we are going to explore this hospital in some very new and frightening ways, for sure.
Rennie, you gave us some broad strokes about filming this scene earlier in that answer. Can you maybe specify a couple of things in that oneer that were especially challenging for you to pull off?
Well, it's all about timing, and suspense is all about what you reveal and what you don't reveal, and how you hold the audience's attention in a sequence. And when you're in a oneer, you want to capture the actor's performance, of course, and see what she is feeling, which means seeing her face. But at the same time, you want to show the environment where she is, and you want to follow her and show where she's going. So it's the challenge is all about finding the right timing, because when you're shooting a scene in a conventional way, you cover it in various ways, and then you can still, in the editing room, decide the pacing of it and what you show and what you don't show. But in a oneer, you're married to it. It's all baked in. So it's a dance between the actor or actors and the camera operator. And no matter how much you plan it and how much you rehearse it, if you don't have actors who are instinctual and really get it, and if you don't have a camera operator, steady cam operator in this case, who really has it's like a dance. It's like a dance between the performers and the person who is capturing it. And their steps have to go perfectly together so that you create the illusion that you're going after. So it's a really fun thing to do, but it's a little scary sometimes because the clock is ticking and you're rehearsing and you still can't get it perfect. And just when you almost got it perfect, and it's a 2-minute shot or 2.5-minute shot, and you're just in the end, and then the cameraman bumps into a thing, and then the camera goes like this, and you're like, oh my God, we have to do it again. So it can be scary, but then when you get it, it's really, really satisfying.
Well, I'm going to follow up on some of that in a second, but Madeline, first for you, again, broad strokes, what is the biggest difference between how you prep to film a oneer versus a more traditionally shot scare scene?
I personally, and this is like maybe taboo to say, but I am not a huge rehearsal fan when it comes to my performance. I'm very particular about making sure that I feel like I'm in the moment and I'm really like present in what's happening, and I think you can over-rehearse something and it can feel really mechanical and really forced. You have to do that for a oneer. So it was about kind of balancing the like, I'm not gonna decide on my performance while we're doing this rehearsal, but I think we did like probably conservatively 4 hours of rehearsal for that oneer to make sure everything was exactly how it was supposed to be. It's a 2.5-minute shot, which you can't cut away from. So it was about kind of navigating the way that I don't really prefer to be really locked into my performance and how locked I have to be for the camera to know where I'm gonna be next. So it's almost like I was a dancer for 16 years, and it's almost like choreography with, like you said, with like a 2-man choreography with me and the camera operator.
Was there a particular maneuver in that scene that like you would get nervous? Like, you know when you're like running to the edge of a diving board or something and like your heart skips a beat at the end?
I'd say once you get into the hospital room where I'm closing the curtains, everything had to be perfectly timed, and I had to duck out of frame as they were turning, and we were using production sound. So we couldn't, like sometimes you get the ability to talk to the camera operator and they'll like kind of give you little hints as to when you're supposed to go and cue you. We were using production, so everything had to be just instinctual, and thank God we had an amazing team and crew who we just danced. But it was nerve-wracking because that was like the very last part of the shot too. So you're holding your breath the entire time you're shooting, and then you get to this part, and it's like all I have to do is duck out of frame and hide in the bathroom, and then right when he turns, I have to get out of the bathroom and I'm done. But it's like everything had to be perfect. We couldn't have radios in there. It's just like it's all in your head.
Oh, something else
By the
happened.
way, I just have to say that what you just said is just one of the many things that I love about you, which is that you don't like to rehearse.
Well, okay, I want to edit that. And I do like to rehearse, just not overly rehearse.
But overly rehearse.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
Because as a director, I also love the spontaneous things that can happen in the performance and in the camera work and so on. When you don't overly just go over it 100 times, but you just kind of let things happen and start shooting. You go through it, and then you just say like, let's just start shooting and see what happens. And sometimes, really gold comes out of that.
I think the fun thing about being in the editing room with these two very incredible gentlemen that I've gotten to learn from is that I've learned that I think I usually get my favorite take in take 1 or 2, almost every time.
Yep.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, and what I've learned is that if you do get that great performance in take 2 or take 3, saying like, let's just do one more for safety is the biggest mistake you can ever make. Because then what happens is that in the next take, the cameraman falls over. In the next take, the sound guy drops the mic.
And the next time I fuck up my performance or my line or whatever.
And then it's like you're in take 12, and then you can't give up anymore. You can't say like, well, take 2 was great. Let's just forget about this rest of this shit and let's go. Then you have to prove to everybody that you can make better.
To yourself.
Yeah. The take 2 we can make better, and then
You waste a whole day like that.
Yeah.
I want to follow up on a couple of things. First, I don't want to forget to ask this question. How many times did you do that oneer?
I think 5, right?
5.
Yeah.
Always very curious to hear how many times it takes to absolutely nail a oneer.
But
Natalie?
We use take 4.
Okay, take 4 is the sweet spot there. You just brought up that you were in the edit room, which I find absolutely fascinating, and I love digging into an actor's perspective, viewing their performance from that vantage point. Can you tell us something about your work in The Strangers Chapter 2 that I guess was stronger than you ever even realized it was on set when seeing it cut together in the full thing in the edit bay?
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of naturally fell into becoming a producer on these films because I worked with two people who very much trusted me in my creative process, which was such a lovely experience. I've never had that before. And so I naturally fell into editing, and I literally hate watching myself. I hate my voice, I hate my face, I hate everything. So it was really tough to remove the like personal ego from what I'm watching. But when I was able to do that after a couple of days, I think I was able to roll my sleeves up and find things that, because I'm an actor and I'm looking at performance, I think maybe wouldn't have been found otherwise. In terms of movie 2, there's a scene where in the trailer you see me sewing myself up, and in the moment, I was so in it and I never watched anything afterwards. And I look at it now and I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? Like, I don't even remember doing that. And then there's another scene which we've not talked about at all, and I literally cannot speak about. That's on my do not reveals. That is my favorite scene of the whole film. In fact, potentially top 3 from the entire trilogy. And I think you will literally all know what I'm talking about when you see it. It is the most badass scene in movie 2. Maya's such a badass in movie 2. If I do say so myself.
It is.
Just so I don't say anything I shouldn't. How about we show another clip from the movie? Not that clip, but another very, very cool clip. Let's show you even more of The Strangers Chapter 2.